Welcome back to Simplifying the State, the podcast where we break down politics so you don't have to figure out what a bridge campus is. As always, I'm Adam Watson.
I'm Nicholas Perrin.
I'm Garfinkel.
And I'm Luciano Perlman.
All right, before we start, please rate us and follow the podcast wherever you're listening and share it with anyone you think would enjoy it, like the voters in line at the polling place. All right, so today's topic is going to be Proposition O. This is pretty specific to Clayton. Basically, for those who have been living under a rock, Proposition O is basically a ballot measure that would allow for bonds to be sold to the tune of about $134 million. That money would then be used for improvements to facilities within the Clayton School District. Right now, they're saying that it will be used to renovate Glenridge Elementary School, to renovate and make improvements to the Gayfield Athletic Complex, and to construct a new sort of multi-purpose space at Clayton High School for various things, including geometry of construction programs, robotics programs, and other CTE-related programs. So I guess starting off, let's just sort of go around here. Do you guys think that Prop O should pass, and do you support it?
I'll go first. I think at first I was a little bit skeptical. It kind of just, at first it just kind of seemed like a bit of a ploy by the district to just get more money. But I think now that I've gotten more involved and participated a lot more in like the process of everything, it makes a lot more sense. And I think I'd say I'm in support of it because it's good. It'll help all the kids at Glenridge. And I think the thing that they haven't been mentioning that they really should be is that like a lot of these like a Prop O like stuff is passed in surrounding districts and it's been massively successful. And I think that's what really swayed me to support it is like the fact that like Webster did something similar. They built a new elementary school and like their kids benefited massively. Ladue did the same thing. Like I think Rockbridge maybe did the same thing. It's just all of these schools around us are doing something similar and it's helping. So I feel like it should work in Clayton.
Yeah, I sort of have a similar opinion about that. Like I originally was a little skeptical, but again, then I researched it a little bit and then I sort of looked into what the state of Glenridge was. And I think that, this is important. Like you talked about, there are a bunch of other surrounding districts which have done this. Ladue, for example, they sought $126 million in 2021, and I, for one, refuse to be beaten by Ladue. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but also just looking at this from if you don't have kids in the district, just looking at this from like a homeowner's perspective, like the average home price in Clayton is like $850,000. And like the main reason that Clayton homes are worth so much is because of the school district. So I feel like even if you don't have kids in the district, making sure that Clayton remains at the top of the pile when it comes to schools will help maintain, if not increase, your home value. So that's just another reason to support it. I mean, obviously I support it because we should be doing everything we can to help our public schools be as good as they can.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as Adam and Luciano, I guess. I'm not bandwagoning. They kind of just said everything. But yeah, at first I thought it was just going to be like raising taxes, which it's not. And Glenridge really needs it right now. As Adam said, like specific details, a lot of teachers have actually gotten sick from the school since the building's just so old, which no bueno. That's not good.
Yeah, I'll have to agree with everyone here, but I think something that hasn't been talked about as of yet, which we're going to get into in more detail, no doubt, but I think the addition of the new STEM learning lab in CHS will be of a great help. Like as a member of the robotics team, we don't have our own fields that we can practice driving our robot with. And the addition of the new field will be of great importance while also providing a tornado shelter and space for other people to learn.
Yeah, I think, Drew, I think a lot of people probably had a similar concern about the tax thing that you did. Obviously, when people hear $100 million to a school, they think my taxes are going to go up. And obviously, in Clayton, taxes are already pretty high. But I mean, the district's been pretty good about talking about what exactly it means in terms of the tax rate. So basically, there will not be a tax increase. The bond issue will maintain the district's current debt levy of half a dollar per $100 of asserted valuation, resulting in no increase in the tax rate. That's from the Clayton website. So basically, the district has issued other bonds for other things, so they've been paying them back. So basically, as they finish paying off some of these other bonds, then they will take out, they will sell other bonds. It's like a whole bond thing. Basically, your taxes aren't going to go up. That's the short.
That's the gist.
Bondception.
Yeah, bondception. I don't know if I can explain it in a way that will be coherent. Taxes no go up, money go to district, fun time all around. It's basically
Sunshine
what
and
I'll say.
rainbows. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, explain
I
it
think-
like we have CTE, Adam.
No, but I think that's the main issue a lot of people have. I feel like I've been around and I've been canvassing, and I think a very dominant thing, like one of the major questions I get asked a lot is like, oh, will taxes go up? How does this affect taxes? A lot of people are very invested in where their money's going. And I feel like the district's been doing a good job of communicating that there will be zero tax increase, which I think is nice. But I also I've heard a lot of people say that and this is true, that if the bond issue doesn't get passed, then taxes go down. There is a faction that is not supporting the issue merely because taxes will go down if the bond issue doesn't get passed and Prop O fails. Again, I'm not saying I'm for that in any way, shape, or form. It's just I think it's just interesting to see what people consider when they're thinking about voting for something like this.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I want to talk about the relevance of this because we're voting on this Tuesday. Today is what is today?
Hold on, who's we here? Of the four of us,
I'm not voting. I'm saying we.
All of us, we're all voting.
We're committing voter fraud in order to support Prop O. That's how much we love it.
Yeah, mysteriously,
exactly.
four Adam Watsons are going to show up at the polling place on Tuesday, and they're all going to vote for Prop O. That's what's going to
Of course.
happen.
We, yes, all of us are voting for this on Tuesday. So I suggest going it out and vote if you're able to.
And
Either
register
yes
to
or
vote if you
no.
haven't.
Yeah.
I think it's a little too late
Getting
to
out
register
vote.
and
yeah, it might be
Well, for future
might be on the
reference,
edge
you
a
know.
little.
Yeah, for future reference, ideally register to vote about 2 months before it happens and not the Friday beforehand. But
I think turnout
Right.
is incredibly important. I feel like, especially in the times we're living in, I feel like a lot of people are becoming more aware of local politics and how important it really is. And I think it's incredibly important that no matter what you think, you get out and you vote and you make your voice heard, because that benefits all of us. And preferably you'd vote yes. I mean, yeah, exactly. And then I think a lot of people too, they're very concerned about the conduct of the district, especially in terms of what they've been doing to sort of pass the issue and whatever. And again, there were two people I talked to canvassing, I think a week-ish ago, and they were talking about how the district is overlooking issues inside of Glenridge, and instead of actually fixing these things when the problems arise, they're actually just waiting for them to become worse problems so they can pass a bond issue about it. And I think it's interesting, the conflicting messaging on both sides. And
Yeah, that
I
is
don't know.
fair, but these kids need a safe and high quality environment for learning. This building is just shy of 100 years old. Anyone know the date? Something like that.
I mean, it was listed.
wait,
Okay.
how old Glenridge is?
Yeah, it is old.
It's like 97 years old.
Yeah, just shy of 100. Which,
Yeah.
and if,
1929.
like I said, if teachers are getting sick, that means kids as well can. I'm assuming the kids aren't going to the basement or anything.
They are.
It's still
There are
not a.
classrooms there.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait,
there
there
are.
are?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I went there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in my 5th grade
Yeah.
class.
I thought it
in
was
the
just like a
basement.
dungeon.
No.
I mean, it is. It's also a classroom. They keep
Yeah.
all the trouble kids in the basement dungeon. That's
That's
why
why they
they
put
put
Letting
them
them
there.
get.
What'd you do to get banished down there?
The better a kid you are, the higher up you are. I see.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like a dystopian novel.
The gifted class is just on the roof.
Yeah. The means to solve these problems is far beyond what we're capable of doing with just a spring clean or a bottle of Clorox. I think
Yeah.
Some duct tape.
these are problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. These are problems that have to be solved with a renovation and with actual effort being put in, and a lot of money. So, but yeah, I think it's just interesting to hear both sides and hear what people are saying and how the district's sort of responding to other points of view, I guess.
Yeah, especially
Yeah.
with such a relevant issue. I can't leave my neighborhood without passing half a dozen Prop O signs.
How would you rate the district's communication on what they have wanted to do with Prop O?
Okay. So All of the things I've mentioned so far, I feel like is the reasons why I was persuaded, and I think, in my opinion, the most persuasive things have not been emphasized as much by the districts as as I feel like they should be. As I would have liked, absolutely. And I think there was an Instagram post I saw a while ago when the Propo campaign was really getting started, and it was photos of Gay Field that they took photos of, and they just cranked up the exposure to make it look worse. And I think it's absurd. And I think I 100% agree with the district is doing. I just think the messaging is a little it's not great, because we have great facilities, and I think there's a lot of good stuff we're doing. And I think it's just, you don't need to make it look worse. That just looks disingenuous. You don't need to twist the truth to make it look like things are worse than they actually are, because they are not amazing right now. They're not terrible, but they're not amazing either. You don't have to it's not necessary to edit photos in on your iPhone and the effects tab and make things look worse than they actually are. Yeah, I don't know if anyone else has any thoughts.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like
going on that, I might be for me, how I learned about most of the stuff from Propo initially is in my civil engineering and architecture class. The actual architects from the firm that helped plan out renovations for Clayton High School and Propo and Glenridge and the rest went in and gave a presentation to the whole class that took up the entire class time about why Propo is a good idea and why they're trying to make this happen in the first place. And I feel like that sort of messaging is what would have been needed for everyone else, but it's not what we saw.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it was good in some areas, but overall it was lacking.
So I do think they did a good job. Obviously, they're going to be opinionated and try to convince you to have Propo. So they could have been a little bit disingenuous. But looking at their Instagram, for example, they have several videos from different teachers about why it should be issued. I saw Mr. Maddock, for example, talking about that STEM thing. I was like, okay, yeah, that's convincing to me at least. So I don't think it's that serious. They could have done better, but I don't think it's awful. I don't think it's going to have a great effect on the result.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the teacher testimonials, I feel were one of the best things about the whole campaign. They went to the principal of Glenridge. They went to teachers who would benefit from this new STEM lab. They went to the athletics director. I feel that stuff, that really helped convince me of why we need to Propo. And hearing the testimonials from the people who have to work in the current facilities and why they want better facilities and why they need better facilities, I feel that was a really good thing on social media. But I feel more of that would have been useful. I don't know.
Yeah,
I could just be nitpicking, but
I wholeheartedly agree. I think hearing from students and teachers and people who work in these spaces every day is amazing. And I think that was the most persuasive part of the entire campaign.
Yeah.
Usually for these, we talk about why it's relevant to students. I don't think we have to do that because
no,
I have a feeling it is.
It does not require
just a
that much
sneaking suspicion that we don't have to elaborate on this.
How will renovating a school district help the students? I wonder. It's a real ponder, guys.
I mean, it's not going to really impact current, the STEM lab isn't going to really impact us because we're going to be long gone by the time it's done. But I feel just sort of making sure that the next generation has the adequate resources they need to be as successful as they can be is pretty important.
Yeah.
You leave and then they just start building.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
It just reminded me of that. The second, the year
First
after
Merrimack,
we leave
now Clayton.
The year after we leave Clayton, they're going to build a brand new robotics facility and STEM lab and thing. And
the poor robotics team.
I'm going to force my little sister to join robotics so she can have what I can't.
Thank you for listening to this episode. We'll be back next time with our next episode, and we'll see you guys then.
Go out and vote!
Yes.
Yeah.